this. This was my very first acoustic solo album. It is called A Plan for Everything, but Not for Everyone. And this album is going to be 10 years old this month. I can't believe that it's been 10 years since I made this available for sale. It's actually been over 12 years since I've worked on this album. Let me tell you just a little bit about this album. The real story behind this album started when I had written two songs, just two songs, for somebody who I'd liked. And I didn't want to play these songs in person, so I had to think of a way to record them. And, this is 2005. There's really not a whole lot of cassette use anymore. Plus, I don't even think I had a cassette player to record anything on at that time. So, the best thing that I could come up with was this little tiny MP3 player that has a built-in microphone. And this was my brother's, this was Tyler's, and I asked him if I can use it to record these couple of songs. So, I did. And while it was kind of like a noisy recording, overall the quality wasn't bad. Plus, I was able to put them onto a CD. So after I had recorded those two songs and I was kind of pleased with how everything sounded, I decided to record a bunch of other songs that I had written within that time period. And the ending result turned out to be 15 tracks for A Plan for Everything, but Not for Everyone.
It seems that every time you're gone, I'm crashing down like an angel who lost her wings. And it seems.
So even when I was younger, I had not been a stranger to writing and recording songs. I used to record things all the time using a cassette player. I recorded stuff that I wrote even before I knew how to play guitar for real. So, I have like a whole box full of cassette tapes, all the way dating back to when I was 13. And there are songs on those tapes that nobody's ever going to hear. There are songs on those tapes that I don't even want to hear. I was actually in my band around the time that I was writing and recording songs for this thing. And the whole, being in the band kind of opened me up, obviously, to more of my, wanting to get more of my songs out there. And songs like Without You and Ghosts, which I had literally written just weeks before I was in my band, Eccentrophobia. Around that age, when I was 16 and 17, I really started taking songwriting really serious, and I wanted to learn how to sing better around the time I was 16. So I feel like around that whole time frame, especially when I was trying to learn how to sing, I was trying to write differently, and having an acoustic guitar instead of playing electric all the time like I used to really helped me write songs that were a little more, I can't really find the words, it's just, they sounded a lot better than anything that I've ever written, when I was a lot younger than that. But the songs that are on here, most of these were from 2005. There's a couple of them on here that I had written toward the end of 2004. And there's one song on here that was written back in 2003 when I was 16. And it's actually one of the first songs that I had written where I was trying to work with my voice more. So, but to this day, I hate that song. It's too long, and it's one song that I never really want to play again. I just don't really care for it anymore. But the songs that are on this disc here, these songs were, in my opinion, some of the best songs that I'd ever written. And I honestly don't know if it's just because of the time period in my life. I was still, I think, a junior in high school, and I was in the band, and I had just everything in life at that time just seemed great. So it's like when I play these songs to this day, or when I listen to them and stuff, it just makes me feel good, and it's because this was at a good time period in life when I wrote these songs.
Why do you go away? I wish you here to stay.
So this album is special to me for that reason. If I had a better recording method, sometimes I do wish I had studio software like I do now, and wish the songs could sound to their best potential. But then I had actually thought about re-recording these songs at one point, and re-releasing them, sounding better and such. But then I decided no, because that just takes away from the authenticity of these songs. But overall, I recorded these songs between May and June of 2005, and didn't really put the CD for sale until 2007, September 15th to be exact. So there were only a handful of copies that I would kind of give out to people around school, people who knew, that I had recorded this, and they, would ask for a copy, and I would just kind of give a copy. Those copies, I do believe, did not have a song called When August Dies on them, because at the time, that was another song that I kind of really was wishing I didn't put on the original version. So those copies were missing a song, and when it came time to actually make the copies of the album like this to sell and distribute in 2007, I decided to put it back. So when these copies came out, it was back to the original form of the album. All 15 songs were here. The cover of the album is a picture of a boy with a motorized bicycle. Not a motorcycle. It's a bicycle with a little gasoline engine on it. Funny story behind this is I was working for a company, and the gentleman who had worked there had this picture on his desktop of his computer, and I had asked him. I just thought it was an awesome looking picture, so I had asked him what the story was behind it, if it was something that he had found or if it was his picture. And he said that this was him when he was 12 years old, and his friend used to like to take pictures. So his friend had told him to just look into the gas tank of this motorized bike, because I guess he wanted to work with the silhouette. So he took a picture of this guy here, whose name was Rich Schley, and he's looking in the gas tank. That's all that picture was. So I asked him immediately if I can use this picture for the cover of this album, because at the time I was getting ready to put this album out, and I didn't really have any concept on what I wanted the cover to be. But as soon as I saw the picture of this, I immediately thought this is the album cover. So that's the story behind the cover of A Plan for Everything But Not for Everyone. I forget exactly how many of these I made. With the help of my girlfriend at the time, we had printed and burned all of these copies ourselves. So there really was a lot of last minute effort putting these together. I'm pretty sure we'd actually put it together right before it was time to sell them. So I actually still have a box full of these. So there's still plenty of them out there. I don't sell them anymore. I just have them. But the night that I put them out, I was excited that I at least sold a handful, and yeah, I wonder if they ever still get played.
Annabelle, you were the one I wanted to believe in, but now you're gone and I'm all alone.
So being that the anniversary of this album is coming up, I have decided that I was gonna put it up on my Bandcamp account and just make it available for free. So it will be available for free download on September 15th of this year, which again marks the 10th anniversary of the release of this album. And I have decided to also include 4 bonus tracks that were recorded in that same summer using this MP3 player. Nobody's really ever heard them. There's only been a very, very few people who have heard the 4 songs that were recorded after I was done recording this. So I decided to throw them into that download as well. So if you download this here, you will also get 4 songs that were never heard on this original copy. So yeah, that's the story behind A Plan for Everything, but Not for Everyone. And yeah, my very first solo acoustic album, my very first public solo release, and it's always going to be one of those albums that, I'm very proud of the songs that are on here. It's some of my best work in my opinion. So, check it out. If you have never heard it before, there's probably a lot of people who've never heard it. In 2007, I did not have Facebook. I didn't even have a MySpace in 2007. So, a lot of people are probably just hearing about this for the first time. So, I will have the link and stuff up on September 15th when this officially turns 10 years old. So again, that's the story behind A Plan for Everything, but Not for Everyone.